Well, at TRILUX, we have been very active in the Office application for several years, and we have been successful with our systems such as Finea and our Yonos downlight series, both for new buildings and refurbishment projects. Here at Light in Building 2024, we are presenting our latest system, our Yonos. First of all, Yonos stands for Your Next Office System. It was important to us to develop a system that meets the requirements of new working environments, but also offers the option of creating individual luminaires. Because on the one hand, we are seeing a strong trend towards continuous lines in the office sector, as everything is becoming more open, but of course there's still a need for classic individual luminaires, and we want to combine both classic, standard-conform illuminated office and the modern office. Well, Yonos is a system centered around a special core, the base element. This base element is available in different versions, as you can see here on the table. This base element is integrated in all the configurations we can see on our trade fair stand. We have equipped it both as a single luminaire and in the variant for continuous line application as a surface-mounted and suspended system. Yeah, that's an interesting point. It's important to us that the system can also be installed quickly. When I talk about a basic element with light inserts or functional inserts, that is a two-part system, the suspicion is always, oh, that'll take a long time. That's not the case with Yonos, because we have a patented spring lock. That means that my base unit is mounted to the ceiling, with ceiling mounting clips in case of surface mounting. In the suspended version, as we can see here at the front, I have the beautiful, continuous, indirect component without flashes of light on the ceiling. In the suspended version, I mount the system flexibly here in the grooves on the ceiling with the wire suspension, which makes Yonos an ideal solution for refurbishment. And once I've done that, I can easily click my light inserts, functional inserts, and decorative models onto the system. We have integrated various light technologies into our Yonos system. The highlight is that the base element is surrounded by all the inserts. We don't just have one width, but luminaire modules with different widths up to 300 millimeters. This means that we can also achieve higher illuminance from one luminaire. The principle is always the same. In other words, I have a base element that I simply mount on the ceiling and then click in the light inserts. It can of course happen that my office layout changes, that I want to reposition something, or that perhaps an individual component needs to be replaced, such as the driver. Then I can simply release the system via the spring lock and then reposition the luminaire inserts, or even replace individual components, such as the driver in this case. This means that nothing is glued on our Yonos. Everything is simply clipped or screwed into place. Our base element is the heart of Yonos, the backbone of the system, so to speak. It comes in different versions. In the continuous line as a 5 or 7 pole version with tap-off distances every 325 or 650 millimeters. That depends a little on how much flexibility I want. Do I want to move my inserts every 325 millimeters or every 650 millimeters? As a single luminaire, the system is initially the same. But the base element is empty, which means I don't have any unnecessary wires that I don't need. Of course, there are cost reasons for this, and it is also advantageous from a sustainability perspective. However, I still have my feeder and tap here, which means I install the luminaire insert in the same way as in the continuous line version. And the cool thing is that the base element is available both as surface-mounted version, which you can see here, and as the suspended version. In the suspended version, the indirect part is really completely flush across the entire base element, but doesn't build up on top of it. This means I have a really nice, homogeneous ceiling appearance. Our rail is our new 3-phase track system with DALI. Rail stands out with its different mounting options. Here we have the classic version as a surface-mounted track. However, rail is also available as a recessed or flush-mounted version, and even as a suspended version with an indirect component. The great thing about rail is that we make sure that we really only have flush inserts. This means that they disappear beautifully into the track and therefore fulfill the exact purpose of the track system, namely to guarantee the aesthetic appeal. And thanks to the flexible positioning, I can then provide precisely accentuated light in the office, but also in the retail sector. I can show you an example of this using our Yonos as a pendant version with an invisible insert. The insert is simply clicked into place, closed, and then sits flush in the track. Doesn't add any extra bulk, and I have a discrete system on the ceiling. With rail, we really focus on the fact that it's an accentuation system, and don't focus so much on normative lighting. That's where Yonos would come into play. With rail, we really want to have a tool that can be used beautifully for accentuation and decorative lighting in reception areas or communication zones. Together with the rail system, we also introduced our luminaire inserts to the portfolio. These are flush-mounted linear inserts with opal optics, directional or even as a wall washer, which also disappear completely flush into the track and offer an attractive alternative or addition to the spotlight.